Hi, and welcome to this professional refinement episode. This recording is a part of a set within the Local Intelligence series. And this is a CV applications documentation update. I'm smiling because this is getting quite complex and convoluted in a certain way. And it is like that. That is the experience of doing this. And if you can imagine not only the segregation of these episodes into episode sets and series and applications documentation update, but that is what this is precisely. Just that. It's just a documentation of the actual events. So let's get started now. I like to begin usually with an overview of what I'm going to present. So it's going to be some pieces of paper in front of me. There's going to be some live screenshots through my browser, and it's going to be some maps in front of me also on paper, and perhaps a few other things that I might share. So not everything's planned out at the moment because I like this to be more spontaneous, and it's for the select few of people who will may or may not eventually have a look at what it takes to be seeking vocational engagement, as I call it, within cybersecurity and my specialization, web application security testing. So let me show on the big screen in front of me here. So this is all about presenting my CV here, which in fact is a 3-pager. The way I submit it, and that's a no-no in certain cultures, but I believe that the first page has 2 short paragraphs. The second page is actually what I know, the foundations of the tools that I use and my approach, and then it has my work history. So having 25 years of work experience in other places, at that point I think a 3-pager is okay. So I have certifications always with me on me, various types. The one I just showed is a CompTIA Security Plus. So that's just a foundations, general kindergarten of cybersecurity. But all those things are on me, and I have them and work with them. Let's see. So let me just show the map that I have been working with. So the way that this flows between series and episodes on this podcast is that the subtitle of the podcast itself is The Art of Civilian Intelligence. And so I'm applying my abilities of live, local methods of surveying the place I am at physically into my vocational engagement work search. And so it's important for me to have a mapping of the local area, which I'm going to present now in front of me here on paper. And this is something I've been presenting in the other episodes. There's my pen as a pointer, and just showing that web application security testing is down here in a certain part of a map of how basically Wrocław, my hometown and city where I'm doing all the work, how it functions by following the money, the budgets here, and the security mechanisms within the local system. So I've explained this on my Local Intelligence series podcast episode, the most recent one. And then what I do is I do professional refinement. So I try to understand where cybersecurity, how it is used within the city and the businesses here and the professional people, and then where my specialization might be applied within there now. So all the different types of organizations and individuals I may seek contact with. And I need to understand that I'm working at the civilian level, below the police forces and military, and then I explained that all the way up to the United Nations Security Council up there. So I'm just, there's a line here, this blue line, And it has to do with just understanding where I'm placing myself and my CVs. So using job boards, which I can show now. Can I show now? Yeah, is this, yeah. So I'll just get back to the screen here. So of course I'm just showing that I have the my LinkedIn profile, and it's up, and that's where I share my podcast episodes as well as other places on social media. So that's part of my, applying myself out there to get the news of what I do to other people. Now I wanted to show here, right, that's something I'll show in a second, but so, and then I keep, spreadsheets of my applications, some dates, and I've blacked out the company names here, and then, but there's the position names. So recently to Analytic SLC, Junior Pentester, Risk Identification Analyst, and then whether or not the CV was in Polish, was there a cover letter, which email I used, and then was it through an internal, external job board, and was it received, and then notes such as is it ongoing, and so on. What you can see here from a previous attempt there, I did get one interview, and that is the highlight of this episode. That I wanted to briefly touch upon that was quite exciting. I was well prepared and culturally à fait, but it is midsummer in terms of vacation time, and I've not heard back after a successful interview, I find, and that's fine. I believe it's perhaps the timing at the moment. What I wanted to share there is I prepared for some time beforehand by, for example, reading their website, obviously, about the business, and even about the people and the specific job title, and all sorts of things that excited me about why it is truly a place that I would enjoy connecting with and engaging with. And so I'm actually just going to show on screen in front of me because I don't want to show the details, but I did make maps of things to mention to those I was speaking with, and I was just showing that in front of me there. Maps meaning, mental models of my world connected to their world and their needs and what they're looking for in a person that they're hoping to hire, and that would then feed the questions I had for them, and I would also be able to place new information I received from them onto such a mapping. And then, the mapping is actually a mirroring of what I have in mind and what I'm already, the frameworks that I have understood in this line of work. So that made sense. Let's see, I have a note in front of me that I'm looking at in terms of what are the things I can mention here. Right, so I wanted to show that I have a desktop work search folder with various categories. I guess I can switch back over to that screen. And so here I'm showing the fact that organization is key with all this. These are just folder names. I'm not going to go into them, but I have folders on my desktop. With a title here is first interviews, and so in the folder I'll have like the various documents and texts about that. A folder about where I've applied, screenshots about doing applications, helpful documents, any helpful other folders with various work, saved websites, and then PDFs. I mean, I have tons of folders. This is just an example of a folder and folders within that. Just to mention that organization is key. It's not just one document I wrote randomly and then just like not have anything else on me. So browser bookmarks folders with categories, right? So that's another important aspect. Professional refinement. Here's showing on screen here that I've clicked on in my browser in a bookmark folder, and then so I have information here. I'm not going to get into it too deep, but you can see that for my hometown Wrocław, PL, Poland, I have job boards for 2024, and I have a general one for IT software security, I have transnational companies in town, popular platforms, social media, so like Facebook, and special groups on there that I filter out for what I'm looking for, national, culture, general, Wrocław recruiters, and so on. And right, and then so I have a daily applications folder for specific dates, and then the places I've applied within, and so on. And then I'm also organizing the actual places that I find, so not job boards now, but the way that security is structured in Poland and in the military defense system, and then various top-level cybersecurity organizations, and then below that is the technological business organizations, and then even local cybersecurity articles and local cybersecurity businesses, and then startups at the bottom, because that's not all the same. You can apply yourself in so many different levels. Cybersecurity is one of those fields that is applicable, as I can see it now, everywhere in civilization. So yeah, you can be actually supporting the civilization of your civilization. Okay, so the definitions of that are actually on my big map here, and they're essential. One needs to understand all this. Now let's see, what did I have on my sheet here to mention? So browser bookmarks, yeah, LinkedIn profile, okay, any progress, right? So yeah, I've been mostly using job boards, and right. Job boards are on the civilian side of things, and what I wanted to show on screen now is some of the jobs I've shown that I applied for. Is that safe to show? Yeah, I can show some of them. They're public. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see here. So, for example, EY junior pen tester in Wrocław, right? And you have all the details there and your responsibilities and what ideally you can offer, and then everything about that. Analytic SOC, Security Operations Center at a bank, etc., and so on. And I've also sent away my information to a talent pool that's specifically oriented around my psychological profile. So that's helpful, I believe. Right, I have a note here to mention something that is a concern. So why is it that I'm giving away a list of what I know with all my personal private information on CVs and in their internal, sometimes job boards, to these transnational companies that can do whatever they want with this information? First of all, it tells them that I'm capable of hacking. And I mean, if I was a high-level senior manager there, I would definitely keep that information. But that is not necessarily legal, especially in Europe. But who knows what happens to the information? And then, so why is it that I should be talking about, and to what level is it appropriate to talk about junior information, or any information at all, to someone who's not even hiring you and has no legal right to know anything other than what you decide to give them, especially in security? So it's a double, it's almost a paradox there. So companies are collecting this, and and then not only me, so it's not less of a concern about me, but it's more like, well, they're collecting the information about anyone who applies, so then they have information about what is being taught in the local and international scenes and what people think that is valuable on a CV. And so then it is possible for such entities to just apply that to their own company. So in a way, what can be done, what I could do is just create a fake online company and just say that I'm hiring, and then see what people are submitting, what kind of CVs they're submitting me, in order to make a better one for myself. I mean, but like, so I don't want to be playing games like that, because that means I have to social engineer myself into a company to be hired, that means that they're not good enough with their own human resources team to tell if I should be hired or not. They have to be socially engineered. That makes for a weak company, according to my knowledge and how I would work through it. So I would never trust an AI to filter my security people. That's ridiculous. Maybe other jobs, certainly not security, because I can easily create things that are fake. Although, I mean, you could easily stand out as someone who actually is not capable the moment you go to work. So why would you want to do any of that? That's why I believe that mentioning that connecting with the culture of those interviewing me, well, or at least having a positive standing and a positive feeling about it was quite meaningful for me, and I appreciate that, and I'm grateful for that moment, because it helped me feel better about myself and what I do know. And I hope that for everyone. Let's see. Right, and obviously by submitting the final note there on my security concern is that, these companies can start gathering data on what a normal civilian without any formal education in the cybersecurity realm can know these days. And, well, that's fine. But I can also be placed on a list of any sort of list that these entities have. And I believe in a way that's what should be being done. But I do not agree with a lot of things in this world, such as the continuing rapid profiteering off of advancing technologies that are destructive. And so who knows where that information is going? That's one thing. I believe I am kind of overqualified for junior positions, and so competing with young people who don't have any work experience and are looking for their first internship, and they're also applying for certain cybersecurity positions that I might be applying for as well, 25 years after my first job. So I'm still looking for entry-level leads that are actually something I can sit down at and go and work at an office setting or freelancing remotely. But the mapping I'm doing of the city and what I document in my local intelligence series, those episodes, that allows me to start seeing opportunities outside of job boards. So, right, so I'm going to be iterating, meaning making these maps better through my research. Now, it's not just purely analytical for thinking's sake. It's actually quite exciting to be figuring out how society is constructed and how things work the way they work by following the money. And this is a Bitcoin Security Maps podcast. And so by following the money and by understanding how the security is integrated into society between physical infrastructure and virtual infrastructure, I'm basically beginning to see the matrix of things that I think anyone who's intelligent can suspect that exists out there. So going back to this note here, so what is the local security culture in Wrocław? Right, that's what I'm figuring out. And I'm seeing that it's mostly, it's very high level. Like, it's not, I've noticed through reading, for example, Medium articles on web application security testing and bug bounty hunting, in other places on the planet, other cultures, meaning even other civilizations, such as the Asian civilization, or in general, that direction of people, there are young teenagers who do this kind of work for fun, because just in their culture that's what it is, and they're doing this on a massive scale. And I think that's important, because in this culture here in Poland, for example, it seems to be mostly a military or a police or a detective or like high level senior experience, like municipal, even executive kind of function, Whereas, we're living on the same planet and there's other civilizations where it's just teenagers doing this and making even more money and being better at it. And so, now what is needed in this society, and do we want to secure this place too and just rely on a few senior people to do the job? There's a tremendous need everywhere for cybersecurity and of all types. And so struggling to find employment is really bizarre, and I think it has to do with miscommunication in the culture, and that is why I've, in my other podcast episodes and in my writing, I created a new human communications protocol, so a new way of speaking between dimensions and between different kinds of people out there, in order to understand one another. For example, I need to be able to communicate the fact that I've seen evidence of 15-year-olds doing the job that I can do at a level that would be helpful here for the military even. But they're not going to hire anyone like that because the local culture is not such, because that's just how things are. But then, okay, so that makes for an unsafe virtual environment here of the local organizations, individuals, and even the structure of society. And so why would you want to do that? So there is a need for the average person even to understand that they can participate in this. And so I'm finding, as I reported in my professional refinement, that I'm if I can't find professional engagement, as I'm trying to do through this and this documentation that I'm presenting, then at least maybe I can form an NGO, a non-governmental organization, for inspiring people to act on creating a threat model for themselves and for life locally and on Earth. For them to, for the average person even to begin understanding that even if you're young and at home and wish to have a job and perhaps have a psychological profile, maybe you're highly intelligent and you're too young, or you're highly intelligent and autistic and need a job, or many other reasons, or maybe you're an at-home mom or someone who just wishes to work remotely and participate, and you don't like office jobs or 9-to-5s. Well, there's so many ways that you can help your local society at various levels, like your building, your home, your community, your neighborhood, and then the part of the city you live in, the city itself, and maybe the province, and then so on, and maybe the nation itself, and maybe like the group of nations that you're part of, and so on. And people are doing this. And I'm just struggling still to understand, well, I'm not actually struggling, I see it, but it will be a cultural problem, is what I'm seeing. I'm interested in the risk advisory level of someone who understands the low probability but high impact events that could affect the positive, thriving cultures that aren't secured through the right local culture. Which could include just simply technological literacy about how things work. So how smartphones work and how that affects local security. So by finding the money, I'm just reading my note here, I'm finding that there appears to be spending on the ecological cultural values across town, such as bicycle paths, parks, and natural elements within the city. Many flowers everywhere in the spring and summer here. There are organizations that care for ecological thriving. The fish swim in the ponds and the swans have given birth. It looks really nice, so I need to go deeper to find people and possible connections with the right specific organizations, for example. So my summary of what I'm saying here is that I had a good interview. I kept on submitting some CVs. I'm active on social media, and I've been publishing my episodes. So this isn't about me publishing the episodes because that's more of a professional refinement thing, but I could show that just briefly on screen here. Right there it is. So, I continue publishing videos, so even on YouTube, but they're mostly good to listen to in audio. And then, right, so my favorite was the interview I got from one of the CV applications, and had a good time doing that, and it emphasized that I'm valuable. Now, well, I guess the final note that I wish to say is that all this is a challenge to organize this documentation into a public format. And I'm giving myself, at this point, at the moment of this recording, it's about 10 more months of applications at most to secure what I'm calling a vocational engagement in cybersecurity in the field that I wish to work in until the summer of 2025. And I'm pretty excited to be doing this. And and that does it for this episode. I hope that it gave some insight to those who are on the same journey, perhaps. And I wish you luck as well. Actually, no, you don't need luck. No, this shouldn't be about luck. This should be about just good work and connecting with the right people. If you enjoy this podcast and this episode, check it out on bitcoinsecuritymaps.com. Offer your support on the Nostr clients. Check out the links in the descriptions of the videos and the audio episodes. Have a listen through fountain.fm where you can stream me Satoshis, so Bitcoin bits. That can support the further development of the show as I work my part-time job to in order to be able to continue looking for full-time work in a totally other field, which is the cybersecurity. And meanwhile, I'll probably be, I am continuing through my bug bounty, what is it? It's called the Hack the Box Certified Bug Bounty Hunter certification. That's exciting to me. And wishing you all the best again, and I'll see you at the meetups.